Hi, good evening to all. Welcome to Indiewood Billionaires Club webinar. Today we have a very exceptional guest. He is very familiar to shipping industry. He doesn't require an introduction. He is the founder chairman of Foresight Drilling, Dr. Ravi Mehrotra. Everyone in the shipping industry knows him, but today we have few other elite guests also. So I need to give some introduction about him. In fact, he's a role model for many in the shipping industry, including me. But more than an entrepreneur, we have a very close relationship. He's one of my close friends. Whenever I go to UK, his home is one of my holding place. Whenever he comes to Dubai, we meet and have dinner together. So that way, it's there's a personal relationship also. But we need to know many things from Mr. Ravi Mehrotra today. He started his career actually in 1964 with SCI. In fact, we can say that he is one of the godfathers of Indian shipping itself. Because after he came to the SCI, the phase change of SCI happened. Because later he started the Irano-Hind shipping. So that was a new bridge between India and Iran. So I think Ravi Mehrotra will talk more about his ventures, his journey, everything. Welcome, sir, to the show. I think we should start with your CBE thing because it is one of the highest achievements one can get in UK. That is the commander of the Order of the British Empire. The CBE honoring is directly given by the Queen Elizabeth. And you tell us about that journey from this humble beginning to this CBE level.
Sohan, you have given me a tough job. You are asking me my 36 years of journey here in UK.
Yeah, no problem. Step by step, we will have more discussion later in detail. But a briefing about from the sample level to a billionaire in UK and holding the CBE.
I will like to add something to it and still not change my passport. I still hold the Indian passport.
Oh, great.
So that's the decision I made to myself. If I have to succeed, I have to succeed as I am. So where you want me to start my career? You have already given introduction that I started in the Shipping Corporation of India.
What was your role in SCI? What all things you could perform in SCI? Then we will go to the Irano-Hind project.
I was sailing on the ships as chief engineer with a combined chief engineer license. That means the steamship as well as the motor ships we could run. And then the Bangladesh war came in 1971. Shipping Corporation, there was some government policy that it has to be enlarged. For enlargement, you need more technical hands to control the fleet. And that is how I was selected and I was asked to leave the ship and come to head office. And that's how, just after 1 week of Bangladesh war, in December 1971, I landed in Shipping Corporation headquarters, one of the technical managers there. And it was a normal life like everywhere else. But don't forget, in 1971, I was still exactly 30-year-old. And being technical manager, I wanted to change everything in Shipping Corporation. Young blood, everything was wrong. I wanted to change that. So with the result, I became a nuisance for bosses and the Shipping Corporation. And so from the normal fleets, I was pushed to handling government-owned ships. Central government of India owned a lot of ships, 21, 24 those days. And nobody wanted to go there because you were only dealing with the bureaucrats in Delhi. In that, I had the lighthouses, passenger ships. I had the 8 of them, the government of India dredgers and everything. So it was a mixture of all the ships which nobody commercially wanted, but government had to have on the coast, and that is how they bought the ships and handed over to shipping corporation to run them. So I was only dumped there. Okay, now you talk too much. Now you sit here, and that is how my career started. And then I started investigating and doing this, and suddenly I was a bit lucky. The British government decided to send the Queen Elizabeth to the largest passenger ship in those days to visit Bombay Harbor. The panic started because the Ballard Pier, where the passenger ships could go, the draft was not sufficient and could not go the ship there. So there were a lot of central government meetings and others. And being a government ships running in charge, I was also invited and went there. Then the port authorities of Bombay, everyone said why it has to be cancelled because they cannot prepare themselves. So, like a fool, I raised my hand. I said, why? There's enough 6 months, 7 months. Why we cannot do that? If we cannot do that, that means we are never will never be able to do anything in our life. So they said, what do you mean? So the secretary as well as the chairman of Bombay Port Trust said what it is. I said, if you give a free hand, I will make the draft. 36 feet was, or 39 feet was needed in the Ballard Pier to bring the, and since then they agreed because he asked, let my department, all other ask them if they can do it. And finally nobody said it can be done. So I was the only fool who said I can do that, but I want only one chap whom I will report, not the committees and teams. Then nothing will happen. And then they appointed the chairman of Bombay Port Trust to be in charge to make sure it is there. And actually, that's the time my career started shifting. And I made sure the Queen Elizabeth was alongside 1 month before the draft was ready, 1 month before the ship arrived. So that was a feather in the cap. That's how you say that. And the ship came, and then the whole concept got changed. So slowly, in the years, it became wherever there was a big dredging work, they always said, give it to Mehrotra, Ravi Mehrotra. So all my 9 dredgers became real busy. So I became in charge of doing the whole harbor dredging of the outer harbor of Vizag, Mangalore port, and one more I did. So these were given the contract. And then I went through the contract with the agreement with the government of India and the shipping corporation. There was a clause that apart from the actual cost of running, the shipping corporation will get 10 paisa, those days, 1/10 of a rupee for every cubic meter of sand removed. In the end, when I did the Vizag Outer Harbour and the Mangalore Port, total Mangalore Port, the government has started giving 150 crores to the Shipping Corporation of India as 10 paisa commission. That opened the eyes of the government, and they decided to make Dredging Corporation of India. Okay, so that's the beginning of the my management work which came. And then what happened, when they made the Dredging Corporation of India, they asked me to apply for the managing director's post. But in the meantime, on the shipping side, Shah of Iran had visited India and the Prime Minister Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister, and they both agreed because Shah of Iran wanted India and Iran to be close. They can control the Middle East full and operate it well. That was his idea. And he said, I will buy the iron ore from the south. The Kudramukh iron ore project was created for that, where 51% was owned by government of India and 49% by government of Iran to develop this iron ore mines on the Kudramukh iron hills to make take the iron ore, make it slurry, put through the water, and pipe it down to the Mangalore port, and then ship it to Iran. And in December, Shah of Iran had come to India to sign this agreement of 1973. And then it was signed. But just before signing, Shah said, okay, we are doing this, but we have not thought how the iron ore will move from India to Iran. So he said there has to be a shipping company. And that also has to be a joint venture. And because iron ore 51% India owns and 49 we, in the shipping company, Iran will own 51% and government of India will own 49%. And that was written in the protocol by hand at the last moment, and it was signed. So that's the beginning of November or December. Anyway, it was 73. It was signed. And then the job was given, this joint venture will run between the two national shipping lines. That time, Iran had a national shipping line which was known as Arya Shipping. I don't know whether you remember that or not. Arya National Shipping Line. Nowadays, I'll tell you, I changed the name to Iran Islamic Shipping Line, RSL line. So that was the concept of that. And the first 2 years had to be managed by India, and 2-year rotation of managing director and chairman. When managing director is from India, the chairman will be Iranian. When Iran is managing director, the chairman will be Indian. That is how the concept was rolled out. So it was only a story. I was not part of it. But suddenly, those days, it was Admiral Gandhi was the chairman of Shipping Corporation of India. One day, myself and he both were going in the lift together in the morning. And suddenly I said, he said, what's your name? Is it Ravi Mehrotra? I said, yes. Where are you? He fired me like that. So I said, I'm here. I have already come. He says, but why you are refusing to go to Iran? I said, what you are talking? I don't know even what you are talking about. I have not refused. Nobody has asked me anything. He says, come to my room. Come to my office quickly. So anyway, I went and sat there. Chairman Shipping Corporation calling a junior manager, what else you can do? Then he called the director technical, that Kohli, Kohli. He said he's telling that nobody has told him, and you're telling he's not ready to go to Iran. So this was all done at the top management. So then suddenly he got fed up and he said, looked at me, he says, I'm asking you now, you tell me, are you ready to go as technical manager to this joint venture? I said, I'm young. You tell me to go to Timbuktu, I'll go to Timbuktu. And as far as everything you look after, it will be there. I have no problem. I have come to work. And it's good. So he said, how soon you can go? I said, how soon you can issue the instruction? This is what I told him. So he said, I am issuing now. I said, I will go. when can you, I said, you tell me when can you get me a flight, I'll go. So suddenly in 72 hours, I was on the plane to Iran. And that is how everything turned out, and I became the founder, one of the team, 5 people were there, 4 managers and the managing director. I was one of them, and we went to Iran on the April of 1974 to form this joint venture, and I took Government of India's 49% check. Shah said, I don't need money. So let's keep only $1 billion capital of the ship, Irano and Shipping Company. So here we landed in Tehran with $490,000 check from Government of India, and that is where is the beginning of Irano and Shipping Company. So the life got changed with no pre-planning of anything. And
you're a bridge between India and Iran for a long time.
Yes. Yes.
You still continue with that bridge, or?
No, I had to leave because if I'm working otherwise, so many sanctions, this, that, ultimately I had to leave that work. And I made them understand. They know, but I said, no, I cannot now work there. So now it's totally, my group is totally 100% dedicated to non-Iranian work. We don't do any Iranian work at all, in any form.
No, you are known in the shipping industry with your book. It is an inspiring book for the entire upcoming generation. I think it is now placed in almost all the maritime academies as a reference material. And fortunately, I was there for the launch of the book also. Not only here, many places when you launched, I was there. Even in Hong Kong, I was accidentally there when you were launching it. It was really an inspiring book. 10 mantras, what you are telling through that one. And the book name is...
What's in it for you?
When I read that book, one of the most interesting part was the money chase you made to form your company. The many days you were flying from one place to another to raise that fund. It was really thrilling. Can you just explain that particular journey?
No, the formation of I didn't follow fully. What you want exactly the question?
No, how much strain you take, how you raise that fund. You had to raise a huge fund.
Yeah, but that is much after the Foresight, my group was formed.
Yeah, no, that's what we want to know. How you become an entrepreneur later after leaving this Irano Hind, you become an entrepreneur.
Yes.
So that journey you can explain in brief.
Yes, this I can tell you is partly I must give in this, although I don't, but in the Ayatollah Khomeini.
Yeah.
When I was working in Iran, by that time I was managing director when the revolution came.
Yeah.
And I was working as a managing director of Irano Shipping Company. Because although it was the term of Iran, but they said we to continue because it is a revolution period. So we were managing the Irano Shipping Company. And in this period, I was running a small shipping company. Those days we had only 4 second-hand smaller general cargo ships. The main job was to bring jute and tea, jute from Bangladesh, tea from Calcutta and Sri Lanka to Iran. That was the main job at the time of the Iranian Revolution in 1978, October, November. So I was managing director in a normal small company, and this is doing the job. But in February 1979, Ayatollah Khomeini landed from Paris to Tehran, and he took over the whole nation. You know, it's a history, so I don't have to repeat that. When he took over, he told those days there was no government, it was a revolutionary council. He told revolutionary council, first thing I need is a shipping advisor who has to be non-Iranian, non-Muslim, and non-American. Those were the qualifications. The Revolutionary Council were searching who is that. And finally, they found that I am the one who fits in this detail. And they created a full Janampatri on me, which I did not know at that time of what my details are there, that much as they knew about me. That is how it came. And then, but I am not telling you suddenly, I must tell you before that. Iran has a issue. Iran has no pipeline till today. There's only one gas pipeline which goes to Russia. Otherwise, there is no pipeline for oil transportation. So all the oil, which is those days was 6 million barrels a day, had to be exported out of Kharg Island. And this is, you have to give credit to that brilliant chap, although all of us did not accept his views. But the fact is, he knew that if the oil is stocked, petrodollars are stocked, it will take 7 days to finish the revolution. So he wanted to keep shipping lanes open at any cost. That is how he put those conditions. It has to be non-American, non-Iranian, non-Muslim. So when they came suddenly with few constables, with the Revolutionary Council senior member, suddenly landed in my office. All the guns around, and everyone was shit scared what has happened at that moment. And they said they want to see this man. And they brought to my room. He says, "Are you Ravi?" I said, "Yes." Then they read out, "Are you the same?" I said, "Yes." He says, "You come with us. We have come to take you to Revolutionary Council headquarters." I said, "What I have done? Why I have to go there?" So they said, "No, you come, we'll tell you there." So I called my ambassador at that moment, and he says, "You cannot refuse in this revolution because everyone is getting hanged or shot. So you better go what they are telling, but it's good you have told me, I'll keep an eye if I can." And that is how I was taken with all the military escort or revolutionary guard escorts to the Revolutionary Council. Dark room like normal interrogations, and they said, "You sit down." They gave me a pad and a pen and said, "Write your terms." Perfect American English. Because along with the Khomeini, 70 Iranians had come from America who were educated in America. "Write your terms." I said, "Terms for what?" He said, "No, for your employment." I said, "You have to ask me whether I want to be employed or not. I'm happy what I'm doing. And if you don't need me here, I'll go back to India. I'm the youngest manager of shipping corporation. I'll retire as chairman. I'm not that worried." Then 2, 3 Revolutionary Council bosses came and sat around me. They said, "You have to take oath. Then I'll tell you everything." So I said, "Okay, if you say oath for what? Whatever we discuss, you have to leave it here." I said, "Okay." And that's how I was under oath. And then they disclosed their rival, means their patsure. That is how they called Ayatollah Khomeini, all of them addressed. Selected you to be his shipping advisor. I said, "Why I am? You have a national line of yours. You have so many others. Why I have to be there? You take them." He says, "No, he has selected, you have to be his advisor. And write your terms, what terms you want." So I threw back the pad. I said, "Listen, English, there was no problem. If it was Farsi, I would have been a little slower. Perfect American English they were speaking. And they said, I said, you think you know I'm a professional? They said, yes, I know. How can you buy a professional? You cannot buy because he has to be satisfied what he's doing. So I refused. I threw back the pad. I said, you cannot buy me out. This is not possible. I had two logic with me. One is I'm a proud Indian. I didn't want to be seen in India that I'm selling myself at good wages and sold my point. The second issue was Khomeini was hanging everyone. I said, if once I go under his employment, I don't know what will happen. I may get a few months some high wages, but after that I'll be hanged. So I refused. After that, they did, and then they brought me back to my office and left me quietly. They came back after 48 hours. He says, when we narrated this incident to our leader, Ayatollah Khomeini, he smiled. He says, this is the person I need. You go and do whatever you want to do. I need this person who has thrown away the money and everything. So then they asked, tell me, how will you join us? I said, first tell me why you want me to join you. He said, because the National Shipping Line, Arya National Shipping Line is not a government company, it's a Shah's Foundation company. So we have to nationalize it and develop the shipping. Because our leader says shipping is very important. That time, hardly 17 or 18 ships were National Shipping Line was there. So I said, the only way you can hire me is to go and request Government of India to loan me to you, and I'll work for you. It doesn't matter then. This was my insurance. At least I'm deputed by Government of India, not rented. And I said, as regards the wages, etc., you will maintain this status. So I have no problem with that. And then again, they brought me back office for 1 week. I was not there. Then suddenly they came. They took me again to their high command. And this time the chief of the Revolutionary Council was heading the table. He said, I want to give you the good news that we have, once we told our leader, he said, immediately send someone and I will give the ring there and you send to Delhi someone and get this approval. There's no other way you will be able to get him. So that time the Prime Minister was Mr. Morarji Desai. Okay? You remember? Huh?
Yeah.
Yes, and Morarji Desai. And then I got immediately a telex. Those days were telex. There was no email or faxes. Telex from the Ministry of Shipping. The Prime Minister is very pleased to hear the first foreigner Ayatollah Khomeini wants to hire as an advisor is an Indian. It's a thing of the pride. We give you, we release you, go and join them, whatever the jobs are offered to you. The rest all will be looked after by us, don't worry about it. So here, Shri Ravi Mehrotra, a technical manager, when running 4 ships small, suddenly was in charge of the whole Iranian fleet, whole Iranian shipping industry, not only fleet, industry, to become the, I said, I need Iranian. So one deputy minister was put as chairman, and I was the principal advisor to Ayatollah Khomeini. And that is how my career got changed overnight. And then everyone knows how the revolution and how the Khomeini fought with the rest of the world. And I had to ensure Kharg Island is always open for business, traffic, because 6 million tons of 6 million barrels of oil had to be exported. And I left Iran in 1984, and this was February of 79. Only 48 hours, Kharg Island was only closed because of bad weather. Otherwise, I kept the route open. So this is where, not that I was expert, I didn't know much. I started learning, and all my blunders, I will put it under the carpet. Success, I'll put it outside for people to see and do that. That is how I learned how to run a business from scratch to fruition. So I hope this explains you well.
Where was the next destination from Iran?
From Iran, the whole issue was different. It was a very satisfying job I had and very powerful job, because in the apart from Japan and India, those days the shipping fleet was nowhere very big. As I mentioned to you in the beginning, Iran had only 18 ships total which I nationalized. But in this period, I added 103 ships. So I hold the record in the world, the maximum purchases of the tonnage in the world in those periods. I don't know now. I bought it single-handedly and converted the Iran's tanker fleet into the world's one of the largest. Even today, it is one of the largest in the world. That is how they are able to survive even in all these sanctions, because they have 48, 50 tankers even till today. And this is where the point is there that so that was my real training ground at the right age. So I don't know what to call this, luck, effort, or whatever it is. I did not plan it when I became the junior engineer on the first ship in 1964.
Did they honor you for something? All your contributions to Iran, did the government honor you for somewhere?
Yes, yes, yes. Them in 1984, and the Ayatollah Khomeini was still in. He died in 88 or 87. And 84, because my children were becoming teenagers. And my daughter, I had to keep them in a Nainital boarding school. Because that's the unfortunate part of it. Even till today, after 40 years of revolution, Iran does not have a English-speaking schools. There's one Indian school, and rest all are Persian. So I had to put the children at the age of 7 years and 8 years in the boarding school in Nainital. So they started feeling there's something wrong. The parents do not love them enough. And that's how we are not keeping them with us. And so being teenagers, we decided, okay, enough is enough. We have enjoyed. Let's leave Iran and move where we can give a proper education to children and keep with us. So I went to government of India, because now government of Iran, because now I had the reverse problem. Those days, I don't know now, but those days in India, the rule was a government employee cannot leave from a foreign post. He has to come back and minimum 2 years school off period before he can join anything else. So I didn't know what to do. So I went to them. I said, now I need your help. Please go to government of India and take the permission to release me immediately. And they agreed. They sent the the minister in charge. Government agreed. They said we cannot change the rule, but we give the word. Mr. Mehrotra should come to Bombay, present himself to the chairman of Shipping Corporation because he was deputed from there, and he resigns, and he will be accepted in 24 hours. Chairman will take him to lunch, and in the evening flight he can go back from here. And that is exactly what they did. Yeah, that time, earlier it was Admiral Nanda, and now it was Admiral Gandhi. So now I remember the name. Because after Bangladesh war, the Indira Gandhi wanted to give a gift. So all the three chiefs, Army chief, Navy chief, and Air Force, were given some honorary job. So Nanda was made the chairman of Shipping Corporation. Later on, Admiral Gandhi became, because he was the one who liberated Goa. And that is how he came in prominence. And it was Admiral Gandhi who was there at time. So they accepted and I straight away in the evening I flew to London and I formed the Foresight. Foresight Limited was formed already by my friends 1 week in advance, and it was running company, and I landed here and took over the control of the company. That is how we came. So 84 August I handed over in Iran my post, and September I started Foresight London. I want to add one thing here. Although they wanted to help, I said, no, I will not take anyone's help. I will start on my own, the company, with my experience. And let me see, if I fail, I will fail. So I did not take anyone's financial support, neither anyone's business. Started as a ship broking. One thing also I would like to add, now you are putting it, in the beginning, when I was buying the ships and I was the big boss of Iranian shipping, I had a lot of opportunities to make. I was handling hundreds of $1 million opportunities to make some money, but I had decided I will not touch the money because they will come to know at some stage, and I don't want to have it in my mind because I have to sleep with myself. But I said, I'm not that fool. But I said, my friendship, I will do favors to all of them if they are good, but they owe me a favor. And everyone agreed. So I didn't have a problem when I came London to start my organization because everyone wanted to help me out because I did not charge anyone anything there. So these two things helped my decision. One is that I said I will not touch anyone's money. I will create my own money, otherwise I am a failure. I'll go back and do kheti bari or the run a milk dairy. That is what bhaiyas are known in the world, isn't it? So that is where I decided. So I started the Foresight with very little money. Whatever, okay, I was well off and there, but that is nothing to do with the buying a ship, which is in millions. So I started with 10,000 pounds, the Foresight Group. And this is how is the base of this, my book, where I have said, when the money was not there in the world, what was the fortune? Isn't it? How you people created. It is their hard labor, is their sweat. The sweat is your capital. And that is what I did. And that also has changed and made my habit today. Even today, I'm 79-year-old and I still work minimum 8 hours a day. That's all, because I cannot see it any other way in myself. So, Sohan, this is where
Yeah,
it
in
is.
fact,
Anything else?
no, you after you publish your book, International Maritime Club and AIMRI decided to give industrial doctorate, honorary industrial doctorate to people
Yes.
like you with
Yes.
that much experience who share their experience to the next generation through a book.
Yes.
So
Yes.
actually, you became the first one to receive the that doctorate in the maritime industry. So I still remember the moment you receive it with pride. And how do you feel those moments?
Very, very good. In fact, your institute did a very good thing and gave. And after that, I want to tell you, the Holloway University of London, UK, has also given me the doctorate. So I don't know what to call a double doctorate. So this is where it is.
It's a great message actually. People with so much experience, if they don't write this kind of books and if they leave the industry, it is a great loss for everyone actually. And actually it's your signature and it is a guideline for the entire new generation. That's why if, now this book is being placed in various maritime academies. I think all the senior people in various industries, they should follow your footsteps. They should write down all their experience, their challenges, everything through a book, and let the new generation feel that pulse actually. And can you explain few of the biggest challenges you faced as an entrepreneur? Especially, I think now foresight is into various fields, not only into shipping. You are into hospitality, you are into pavers brand also you launched, right? I can
Yes.
see it in various airports, your brand. So
Yes.
can you explain the various products of your group right now, and what are the biggest challenges you have faced so far?
Shipping industry, it was easy because that's what I had learned and that's what I had to do during the Iranian Revolution in Iran, and I was comfortable with it. But having entered and become, in the beginning, I would have given everyone my right arm if he had said, I will make you a ship owner. But I'm proud and happy that I became a ship owner and now definitely rig and other owners, my own strength and my own hard work. So I don't own anything to anyone. Now this is you have to go back. When I went in shipping and went into detail, then I realized my shelf life of shipping industry is not more than 15 years because it's a very cyclical industry, shipping. It's very cyclical. And then you land up on the wrong cycle and then you close. And this is what I will ask you. You are in this business. Tell me how many shipping companies who have crossed 36 years. I am asking you this question.
Very few, very few.
Huh? So this is where I learned this business. It's a very cyclical. So I must have a second stream of cash flow to survive, and they should balance each other. And that was the reason, because I was working in Iran, they were the major oil producers, number two those days after Saudi Arabia. And I decided, okay, I have so much connections in the Iran and shipping company, let me start drilling, oil drilling, offshore, not land, because I wanted something to do with the water. And that is how we diversified into oil drilling. And without knowing what is the industry, thinking that, once you are successful there and here shipping, it's a human nature, you start feeling you have Midas touch. Anything you will touch will become a success. And I got a slap on my face, landed in trouble because it is worse cyclical than anything else. And here cyclical means millions. And shipping still you can do in 10, 20 million dollar. But in oil drilling is only, you are talking of everything 100 million, 50 million, the price changes of the oil rig like that. So I didn't know what I have landed into it. And I took the professionals to run it. Then I realized everyone is making fool of me. So being an engineer, that's the biggest advantage I had. I turned my sleeves, put on boiler suit, and I went on the rig. Started living there and running the rig and learned from the tool pushers down. I did that. And after 3 months, 2 months, 3 months, I realized I know more than them because I had the educational background. All these oil drillers are only less than high school pass. So that is how I learned. And the fear of failure, that is how people do not diversify, is the fear of failure. It was looking at my face also, fear of failure. That's how I turned my sleep. So here I thank my star and thank my alma mater, DMT, Calcutta, that I could turn my sleeves and say, let's get down and let's see what is wrong. And that is where I succeeded in shipping. You will have a chart with you. I don't know whether you can see that chart. Today, after the coronavirus, the oil prices, everything has collapsed, So oil price went negative. And with the result, all the contracts are over. But today, what has happened? The foresight holds 5% of the world drilling contracts.
Oh, great.
It has never happened in history with anyone.
Oh, great. So from a billionaire, you are going to be a trillionaire?
I don't know. No, I am not. If I look for money, then I am not Ravi Mehrotra. Money doesn't excite me. It's the success of the project excites me. Sohan, you have a wrong friend whom you keep on telling billionaire club and this and that. It doesn't excite me. Excites me is a successful project completed and achieved. That's a personal satisfaction.
I'm really surprised. See, nowadays people they are really afraid to go to the office, and today you are in the office because you told me that you are getting bored to sit at home, and I want to be in the office. So I'm
Yes,
really surprised how courageous you are these days compared to the youngsters who are afraid to go to the office, and you are still in the office and working a minimum 8 hours per day. That is great. It's a great message also.
this is also one more advantage when they see the leader himself running in front. So my other staff also do not mind coming and doing it.
Now, I heard Mr. Paddy just recently joined your team. You're now a CEO. That's a great step. I think he will be your right hand now onwards.
Yes, but anyway, don't forget he is the director of the world's largest and most famous museum, Greenwich Museum. But was my friend. I persuaded him to take government clearance and become the non-executive director of our group. And the reason is, this is again the question is, after COVID-19, if we come out the other side, where we can focus. And at the moment, I can think, no matter what happens, the shipping has to improve and increase because the manufacturing and all, till they are organized locally, all have to move the goods. We have consumed already whatever the stocks in each country was there. So now the shipping has to improve.
No, it's the fact that it is not the governments which can change the destiny of a nation, but the real business community who create
Yes.
the money like you have created when the world is in a crisis. Now you have moved forward. Okay. So I think what is the message you want to give to the business community in India? Because you have shown the national spirit by keeping the Indian passport still, even after staying in UK for almost 36 years, right?
Yes, That's right.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
still you are holding Indian passport
That's
because
right.
the British government will give you the citizenship in no time if you say a word yes. But still you hold the Indian spirit is with you. So what is the message you want to give to the Indian business community? Because Underwood Billionaires Club dream as such is to make the Indian rupee equivalent to the dollar. For that, the business community, they need to, with that national spirit, they need to do something for the nation. So what is the message you want to give to the business community?
Let me tell you one thing. The India carries the load of legacy. Our first Prime Minister created something which he himself didn't know what he has created, socialistic pattern of society. It was neither, he could not remove the business people because Gandhi was supporting them. And he could not bring communism because although his education in UK was at the time, Nehru, when the Marxism was at its peak. So he was totally influenced by Marx. So it's not that he was doing wrong, he was influenced by the Marx. And he wanted to develop into that. So he created something to satisfy Mahatma Gandhi as well as his own ambition. So he created socialistic pattern of society. Till today, if you ask me, I don't know. Nobody knows what is the meaning of that. So this is where is the issue. So this is the legacy we have got it. And the politician wants to show that they are not in the cahoots with the business people. It's not like South Korea or Japan, where they created the chai bowls. They created the atmosphere, created making. And actually, this is exactly what was done in China also. It was totally communist, but Xiaoping, when he became, he changed. He brought only, you were disqualified with Xiaoping if you were not an engineer. All the three presidents which came under him before Xi joined were all engineers. He created. That is how China has grown. Three and himself five. He decided to hand over after 10 years, but he put a requirement. The president has to be selected who is an engineer, and he drew because in the Chinese metaphor, number 8 is very auspicious. So he says he has to ensure that he grows the country by 8%. And that is what 20 years China got it. And now they are reaping the benefit. That is what is needed in India. So I am coming back to taking you to India's position. The legacy is this, that the business people have no Maibab. So everyone is busy in making money only, not in building the institution. That is where is the crux of the whole problem.
Is it with that national spirit you have invested heavily in the Gujarat maritime sector? You are going to start the CNG terminal or something, no?
Yes.
The major investment you have done there.
I will take 2 minutes to tell you why we went there. The whole issue is uh, India at this juncture is a poor country. Suddenly you bring to them LNG, liquid natural gas. The gas has to be first converted to liquid and then carried in an expensive tanker to maintain refrigerated 153 degree below zero. It's an expensive affair. Petronet and others were formed. But the fact is, except the government companies, and that's how everything in India is expensive compared to the world, because we have not evolved ourselves. This is my last point before I throw my hat in the ring. I have decided to give to my country a port which can bring the CNG, that is compressed natural gas. So it doesn't need liquefaction. But the problem of you cannot have a very big ship, and problem is you cannot go very long distance. So the nearest I can get CNG is UAE, Arab world, and the closest is Gujarat. So I went to the chief minister. I said, "This is what I can do if you want me." And I must give credit to him. He opened the doors. He said, "Come, quick." And that is how I have entered. This is my last project in which I want to give and create something unique, because instead of $2, which adds by liquefaction, $2 per million cubic feet, I will be able to do it 60 or 70 cents. That will be a great help to the economy of India. This is what I have decided to do that.
You are trying to plug one of the economic drain holes.
Yes, true.
Yeah.
If it succeeds, then all others will come. I am not telling I want to hold the business. All others will come. But this is a very risky and dangerous and professional decision. But if they see it running, then they will all will come.
So how do you see the post-COVID era business sector?
If you see it, then I will really become $1 trillion. If you tell me how to become what I see, because nobody knows when is, first of all, where is the light at the end of the tunnel of the COVID? The second point, how the world will look like. Because we may feel today a little safe, but the waves will come. This is a virus which is mutating itself. See, earlier you said it is not a water droplets which falls. So you wear the mask and this and that. But now they are coming up. It goes in the air also very far. So the real movement of the COVID has taken place by the air, with the wind blowing from one place to another. So that is where is the virus is mutating itself. The second point, earlier they said it does not affect the children. Now the young people are dying. So unless we know what animal we are dealing, how can you plan what is the future? My question to you now. But certainly, whatever happens, because the stockpiles of all the nations who are not in manufacturing is depleted. So the shipping will be needed. In what form, I don't know. This is what I want to give the message.
Also, you are a professor at Cambridge
Yes.
for the last 10 years, I think. How do you experience that? Because you are totally normally into the technical aspects and other things, the management side. When you take the role of a professor or a teacher, the level of satisfaction what you are getting. Because if you are not getting it, you won't continue for such a long period.
Yes, I have been more or less, I think, 15 or 20 years giving this. But I have to explain you this course, uh, Cambridge University Academy of Ship Transport has formed a special course. It is the anatomy of ship finance. I am the professor in that anatomy of ship finance. How to develop financing for a ship. And this is a must course for any bank who wants to enter the shipping. They send their bank managers, middle level bank managers for this course. So I am teaching there, not in the general. That is where it is there. So the question is how the financing can be done and survives and take the care of how to reduce the effect of the cyclicality of the shipping. How far you all know why there is a cyclicality in the shipping. Issue is this: there is no connection between shipbuilding and ship operating. This is the only industry where there is no connection. Airlines, you build an aeroplane and is connected with that. You are in charge of the whole life cycle of that aeroplane. So it is interlinked. Whereas in shipping is the only one that when you build a shipyard, after 1 year, they don't know where is the ship, what it is. So the reason is whenever any nation wants to become industrialized, they use the shipbuilding as a means to convert their farm labor into welders, because what you need is a good draftsman and then welders, and you have become a shipyard, good shipyard.
How do you see at this IMO's latest requirement, which really make the ship owners panic about the implementation and execution of the green ship requirement and the sustainability, the clean energy requirements? How do you look into it, and how it is going to affect the ship owners?
This is very important, whether ship owner or not. The whole human race will demand decarbonization of anything which moves in their front of their eyes. What you do behind may not be that important, but what you see in front of your eyes, the public opinion will change against that. So the fossil fuel has to be decarbonized. And this is my fight with the industry always. Why don't we join together and work out decarbonizing the fossil fuel, which is very expensive and very difficult. So why don't you, what you throw CO2 in the atmosphere, recapture and put back in empty oil fields? Sequestration of CO2. And this is easily doable. Technology is there. Already oil companies do for themselves a little bit. And if we do it in a large scale, you solve and run the shipping as it is. Because today is a very big problem in shipping. I want to buy a ship today. I don't know what will be the regulation after 10 years, whereas the ship life is 20 years minimum. So I don't know myself, how will I make a decision? Which ship to buy and what engine to have in that. So only way is sequestration, the recapture of the CO2 from atmosphere. And this is where the governments have to help, and this is where I am working with IMO. Luckily, Secretary General is known to me, so that's how we are working on it. But it is very difficult to achieve quickly, because when you are talking internationally, every industry pulls in their own direction.
Sir, you are a role model for all of us. But who is your role model? There must be someone, no?
Actually, my father died when I was 10-year-old. So, and mother was definitely a Sanskrit scholar. She gave me good, what you call in English, how to live with your life. That is where it is.
Spiritual.
Do you know the meaning of sanskar?
Samskar, yeah.
Yeah, that is, I got from my mother. But after that, rest all I had to create my own. So it is me who does my own role model. I sit, whenever there is a problem, I take it and sleep with it. I sleep with it for 2-3 days and then come out and make that decision.
So you can proudly say that you are a self-made person.
Why I should say probably I am a really self-made.
Yeah, this is the confidence we should give to the others, because everyone is waiting for someone to guide. They never think that the real power is there in themselves itself.
In
So
themselves.
you are a real role model for that one, actually. Because if you have that, if you can recognize the power in you, that is more than enough to guide yourself.
Yeah, our sages teaches this only, that you have to recognize your inner self. And everyone tells you, once you start doing, you know what is your strength, what is your weakness. And that is how the companies are made. When you know what strength you have, you can do it. The weakness, you cover it by employing others and bring in your team. That is how the group becomes success.
Just before concluding, I just want to ask one more question. The thing is, you started as a marine engineer, then became a technocrat, then you represent the country, and you were guiding the shipping lines of one of the biggest oil trading countries in the world. Then you become an entrepreneur, you become a billionaire, and you are a professor. So you are playing various roles. Which one gave you the maximum satisfaction?
Where I face daily challenges. Have I given you the right answer?
Yes, 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 yes. And also, what is the message you want to give to the youngsters? That there are so many students watching this program also. So, what is the message you want to give to those people who are still struggling to decide their real career? So, the career design is still they haven't finished with. So, what is the guidance you want to give?
They have to learn how to ignite fire in their belly. This was one
Yeah.
of my speeches I gave earlier. Fire in the belly. If you have fire in the belly, your desire and perseverance, you will find solutions for everything. You don't have to worry about it.
And also, any more message to the foreign investors? Because I know your national spirit, your Indian spirit. So, what is the message you want to give to the whole world to invest in India? Because this Indiawood Billionaires Club's vision is $1 is ₹1. So, we are looking for investors like you to come to India and make our economy stronger.
Bane of India is too much bureaucracy, which does not permit a ambition to convert into reality. That is the real crux of the whole issue. America has created its own Silicon Valley. India does not have anything like that. See, the imagination, a person's ambitions, if he has the courage, he should be able to fulfill it. And we have no system in the organization because this is the bane of the bureaucracy. Bureaucracy wants to see. उसको कोई भी प्रोजेक्ट दे के आओ तो बोलता है इसमें तो कोई पहले पैसे कहाँ हैं ये दिखाओ. You know that so only the money grows money. That's all in India. That is how the business houses have kept on becoming, and there is no entrepreneur.
So, what about the idea of, because you are still holding Indian passport?
Yes.
I'm just giving an idea of asking all the Indians who change their passport and holding foreign passports.
Yes.
Tomorrow, if all of them change they come back to India and they change their passport, will it really change the Indian economy?
Yeah, it will definitely have an effect. Definitely, it will have an effect, and it will happen. It will happen because ultimately, the industry and the business in the world is run by the youth, not by those who have already become billionaire, because they have made there and they can sleep on their satisfaction what they created. It is the youth which will do that. And in India also, the bureaucracy will reduce. The youth will convert it back. There will be so much floodgate effect. Bureaucrats will not be able to hold it. It will change. So the time is coming for the youth to bulldoze everything. It's coming. How it will come, where it will come, I don't know. So don't go. But definitely the youth of India will demand a better life for themselves and they will create. If you, successful people like you or me, some little bit, can find a way to help someone to become, a message I like to give.
Great, sir. I think our time is over. We need to wind up. Thank you very much. It was a great evening. A lot of people got real lifetime experience from you, and more people will be coming to know about this because we are sharing the link to all in our circle. So thank you very much. Next time when you come to Dubai, let us have one more dinner together. Thanks for your great time. Thank you.
Thank you. And Lakshmi, thank you.